journalists. And in this protest, from the political angle, what will you say about the role of the media so far?
Well, Mr. Joe, once again, just like my colleague here presented, I think the media fairly enough has tried.
Joe is not here.
Sorry. Just like the media have, just like my friend here just said, I think that fair enough, the media have tried to bring out what actually was the problem per se, the beginning of the reform SARS, because that was where it started, to end SARS and to where we are today. So fair enough, you would say that the media tried to bring out what actually was going on as they unfold. But also politically, if you look at it, the whole thing, also the media, some part of the media is politically inclined in trying to make a presentation on this very issue. Now check, if you see, there's a lot of reportage on issues that have to do with direct challenge and or to the government or to the president or to the political office holders. And then if you look at it, apart from just being presented politically, it also has an implication on national security, because when you are, for example, you are bringing chanting songs that are saying Buhari must go, Buhari is a bad boy, Buhari is a Yahoo boy, Bola Tinubu is bloodthirsty, Sanwo-Olu is bloodthirsty.
All those negative things that
ordinarily the media shouldn't have allowed itself to be part of that, because like in your opening remark, you rightly put it, which I totally agree with you. There are things that professionally and ethically a journalist or media house is not supposed to report in the interest of national security, because it is only when the country is peaceful, it is only when there is the situation warrants for you to even cover a certain event and then make a presentation before you can do it. When the situation did not give you such room, you cannot even do it. And you also presented some this, just like a sister media house was being attacked, and then part of it was even bombed, and you also saw some media personnel covering part of the activities were also being attacked. We saw a woman crying and their camera and what have you were taken. Why? Because some people were happy with the way the reportage is going on because it is promoting their cause, while there are a lot of Nigerians that are also not happy with the way the reportage is going on because it is infringing on national security. It is also politically inclined, as you rightly asked, is touching on the interest and the integrity of the government in place and the personality that are ruling the government per se. Just like I pointed earlier, the issue of Buhari must go, Buhari is a bad boy, Buhari
calling individuals names
calling names that are supposed to be called. If it is in the national interest that you are doing it, you should just look at where there is a fault. Now you are talking of NSAS. It is the SARS that you perceive to be brutal in nature and then infringing on fundamental human rights of Nigeria. Then you should have concentrated on SARS. Okay. You make a 5-point presentation of Blazi. The government accepted the presentation and is immediately swung into action. Not only the IG calling the leadership of the protesters to discuss and tell them we've agreed with your presentation, but the president
did not predict, because there were people who say, okay, who are actually the brains behind this protest? Who are the leaders of this protest? What is the exit point? Especially at the point when the president said we've accepted, we are ending SARS. But then we saw the slogan change to something else. Can we say the media did not actually tell the political class that, look, this will get out of hand?
Abdulaziz, I will tell you that the media did not just only tell the political class. No, they didn't. And they also did not tell Nigerians. Because the political class is just one fraction out of Nigerians.
They are the decision.
They are the decision makers. But then, media is supposed to have played the role of an umpire. That is why you call it yourself the fourth realm in line of leadership in Nigeria. After the executives, the judiciary, the legislature, then comes the media. So if the media comes in, it means the media have a major role to play. And that role that the media needed to play, they ought to have played that role. For example, in this very platform, in the last 2-3 days, we've heard you come on air and discuss about the implications of all these things as they go. But how many media houses or how many journalists did what you did by coming up on the platform to discuss this thing? I've heard you discuss this in the last 2 days, continuously, non-stop. So why are you doing it? Why are others not doing it. Now, don't look at even the media house, but look at the media men themselves, the journalists themselves. How many journalists are patriotic enough to come out and look at the leaders and also the youth, tell the protesting youth the reality on ground, also tell the political leaders the reality on ground? How many of the journalists have come out to do that? That is as per individuals. Now, coming up as a media house, the either radio, television, or even the online media you have, because there are registered online media apart from the natural social media players. How many of these guys have come out either as a body to discuss the implication of this protest, tell the leaders, the political leaders, the implication of allowing this protest to carry on, and also to advise on how best to approach the issue so that there will be a resolution? How many media houses come out to do that? How many journalists individualistically come out to do that? What the journalists and most journalists and media houses concentrated on is the protest itself, and trying to promote the protest and the protesters, just to make them feel okay, trying to bringing them out to the fore, and also in a way supporting the protest, not minding the implication that the protest is going to bring, and or allowing it to linger for much longer time necessary. And this is what we are in right now. If a lot of journalists had come up to protest in the sense that declaring the implication of this protest, the continuity of this protest, if the media houses also have accepted to, as an organization, take it as a responsibility, social, you call it, social responsibility, to present it to political leadership and to generality of Nigerians that the continuity of this protest is likely going to end up or get to certain level that may not be sweet for the country. In the interests of Nigeria, in the interest of national security, in the interest of unity. How many media houses did that?
Okay.
How many journalists did that? If you ask me, I will tell you almost none. Most, very few out of, if you have 100 of you who are journalists as an individual, maybe a fingertip of you will come out, did come out to do that. So many did it, and that is contributing to the problem we're having today.
Well, contributing to the, when we look at